Hi, this is Rhonda Shear, and you're staying up all night or day with TV Confidential.
What do you think of all this, Nick?
I think it stinks.
This is my country.
Yeah.
I give it just what it wants. Dope and flesh. Something up the arm. Something to lick around the belly. You have a good time last night? Huh?
Lee Marvin, Gene Hackman, Prime Cut, the gangster film that's a cut above.
Ed Robertson along with guest Les Lannom. Les Lannom, the actor known around the world as Lester Hodges on Harry O, and a man who has also worked with such movie and TV legends as Lee Marvin, Gene Hackman, Peter Falk, Pat Hingle, Joe Don Baker, Sissy Spacek, James Garner, and of course David Jansen. Les has also played many instruments in the course of his lifetime, including the bagpipes, which he still plays now, and which he first took up at the age of 40. You can follow Les Lannom on Facebook. You need a strong stomach to play the bagpipes. Does the same hold for when you play the trumpet? Because you played the trumpet back in the day, too.
Yes,
Okay.
I played the trumpet for, 9 years, from the time I was in the fifth grade through my first year in college. And you're right, it's the same. The only difference is the embouchure, the lip, is different. With a trumpet, it takes a certain kind of strength to control the highness or lowness of the, is that a highness? Yeah. The pitch.
It works for me. That works for me.
Go to pitch on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. It works for you. Okay. It works for you. It works for me. Oh, boy, I'm okay. Or that book, I'm okay, you're okay.
Yes.
Then of course there's the one, I'm okay, you're not so hot.
That's right. I'm okay. You're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's a European thing. But anyway, with a bagpipe, you've got to seal around a tube that you're blowing through. The pipes, you have a cushion, you have a mouthpiece with a cushion that goes around the opening. It's a totally different set of muscles. Used completely, if you're tired, you can't make a seal around that blow stick.
Yeah.
And you'll see some people who hold they call it the blow stick. They'll hold the mouthpiece of that thing in the side of their mouth, and some of them hold it more toward the middle. I hold it almost in the middle of my lips. I got used to that by playing the trumpet in the middle of my lips, and a lot of trumpet players will play out to the side. You'll notice that Louis Armstrong played with the thing off to the side. I think Dizzy Gillespie, a lot of people. A lot who were self-taught. Soft-tilt.
Soft-tilt. That's.
I'm a little less deck-sick, you know. But a lot of people who were self-taught would find out that they would hold the pipe sort of sideways or turn their head slightly sideways, and play with the trumpet, with a mouthpiece on just off the center. Oh well. There you go. So where were we going with this?
Well, no, you started talking about the book project you're working on.
Fortunately for me, because of the music background I had, I learned very quickly. And I could play by ear, except I could not play I didn't know how to play the grace notes. And those are the little, the things that will separate one note from another. Now, with the trumpet, you can tongue it, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, or ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, double tongue or triple tongue, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and it's like tu-tu-ku, ta-ta-ka, to separate. You cannot do that with a bagpipe because you're just blowing air into it, and the air is constantly going through. It's like playing an instrument that's part of it is a reservoir of a leaky basketball or football, or like a rugby ball, about the size of a rugby ball, I guess. But it's like a rugby ball with a bad leak, and you're trying to keep it inflated. And you have to, depending on the strength of the reeds, you have to put about that much pressure into it. When you feel of a bagpipe of a guy who is experienced and is playing fairly vigorous reeds, the skin is taut.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tight. And it feels like people say, Jesus, where's that coming from? That from your lungs? I said, well, it's from your stomach. Oh. So it takes endurance in the stomach muscles, strength and endurance in the stomach muscles. And in the neck, you'll notice bagpipes. There's a wonderful piper named Eric Rigler. Eric plays not only the Highland pipes, and he is was the pipe major for the LA Police Department,
mm-hmm.
the LA Police Pipe Band. And he also plays the Ilian pipes, or the Irish, the very quiet pipes. And he played, I think, the theme on Braveheart.
Mm-hmm.
And he also, I believe, may have done some of Rob Roy with Liam Neeson. That might have been Patty Maloney. I'm not sure. With the chieftains. But anyway, Rigler, I was watching. He'd blow, and his tie, his dress tie
mm-hmm.
would pop up over his Adam's apple, up and down, up. Every time he'd push, his neck would swell up. Boop, that would go the tie. So kind of cute to watch, but it's typical of what happens. You develop muscles in your neck that you never thought of, and in your cheeks. It's easier to seal when your cheeks are kind of puffed out a little
mm-hmm.
bit. If you go crazy, no. It's not Dizzy Gillespie style of both cheeks being puffed out like that, but similar.
Well, if I remember correctly, you don't play any music on this book project you're working on, but you do a number of voices.
No. Oh, that's right. My friend Steve Calvar, whom I was in a group called the Writers Group in Los Angeles,
mm-hmm.
in North Hollywood. Steve was a writer, and he had written. He was writing a book about Amundsen, Raold Amundsen, and who was the Norwegian explorer,
mm-hmm.
and what's his name? Lincoln Ellsworth,
mm-hmm.
who was an American and the son of a coal magnate, and his father was filthy rich.
Mm-hmm.
Built it up from nothing, and Ellsworth did not want to depend on his father's money, and he went out west. Well, first his father had a deal to get him to go to Yale, which was his father's alma mater. He talked him into going out. He said, I'll send you out to Yellowstone, and you can work out there and be out in the wild and the wilderness and around the animals and that. If you'll, when you're during the end of the season, you'll come back and go to school. He said, okay, good enough. Well, it didn't work out quite that way, and Ellsworth ended up going to work on the railroad in Canada, constructing the Grand Trunk Railway from Montreal and from somewhere in Canada, all the way across Canada and up into Alaska. And then he got involved in mining for gold or panning for gold, and he did a bunch of things. And the last thing that he wanted to do was explore the Arctic with Raold Amundsen.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked his father, James W. Ellsworth, into financing part of the expedition, in that he put in about $88,000 to buy a couple of airplanes, which they went on. And it's quite a saga, but I am doing the voices of all of these people. Ellsworth, of course, was American.
Mm-hmm.
James W., I was sort of using David Jansen's voice.
Mm-hmm.
David, always talk like this, you know. And, so got this as James W. Ellsworth. And then Amundsen, Amundsen was from Sweden, from Norway in Sweden. I think Norway was a part of Sweden for a long time. And they got their independence from Sweden back in right after World War I. But anyway, Amundsen, they have this voice that goes up and down, like they're talking. And then he had there were 2 or 3 other Norwegian voices. A fellow named Heinrich Ondal, and then there was I can't think of his first name, but Larson. His last name was Larson. Mm-hmm. He was a World War I flying ace, and a couple of other guys, a fellow named Dietrichson, and then a German named Kunz. So I have all of these different voices, for your sentence. Trying to separate, when you're doing 3 Norwegians, or 3 or 4 Norwegian, you have to change the pitch.
Yeah.
And I've got Dietrichson sounding like this, easy. I don't know. It is intriguing and it is fun, especially when they're in a kind of a heated exchange. Mm-hmm. Switching from one to the other is more than a little challenging.
Well, keep us posted on the progress of that, and when it's going to be when it's.
And the other thing that I'm doing is I have a partner, a music partner.
Oh.
I was going to come back here, and I knew I needed to do something with the bagpipes, but a friend, a woman that I had met when she was about 16 or 17, and was the first chair trumpet player in my high school band. Mm-hmm. Well, not mine, but in the high school band at the time. I used to, when I would come home, I would go up to the school and meet my teachers, my former teachers, and meet the kids and give them an idea that if you have a dream, unless you pursue it, it'll always be a dream. Mm-hmm. And you have to, as Lee Marvin said to me, if you're going to take the king, you got to go after the king.
That's right.
And so I went in, and my former band instructor, Charles Shaw, said, "Can you still play?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I think I know the fingering. I'm not too sure about my lip." He said, "Would somebody like to lend Lester the trumpet?" Well, they all knew that I was the local TV star, I guess as it were. To me, I never thought of myself as a star, because to me a movie star, a television star, was somebody that you would go to see them work just because they were in the show. Well, the only people I think who did that for me were my mom and dad.
Yeah, but you are a working character actor, which I'm not an actor. I've talked to enough actors to know that at the end of the day, every actor wants to work, and and when you're a character actor, particularly if you strike relationships with casting people, as you did early on in your career, being a character actor is the path to as close to steady work as possible.
Yeah, and it was, even with me, it was sporadic.
Yeah.
I was luckier than most. I kind of hit the ground running. I got out to L.A. in March of 1972 after having done that one film in Canada, mm-hmm. Fine Cut with Lee Marvin, Gene Hackman, and Sissy Spacek. It was her first job as
mm-hmm.
well,
mm-hmm.
but she had a little bit better billing than I did. But I got into town in March. I landed an agent by May, and in July I was working on the FBI. In August I worked on Canon. Then I went through a couple of months there with nothing, and in December, I think it was the 10th of December, I started working on Kung Fu. And then the following January, they asked if I'd like to do a day to pilot for Harry O. Of course I would,
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Ed Robertson, thanking you for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss our next episode.
Hi, this is Ellen Gear, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Can I get you anything else, Mr. Orwell?
How do you memorize things?
I guess I read them over and over.
I write them down. Aspects of crystalline and forming structure with respect to molecular linkages of certain alkaloids and the synthesis thereof. By Harlan Garrison and Marilyn Bedstrom.
That's it.
You got a drill?
Yeah.
What's your major?
American history. Civil War.
Wrote a paper on Robert E. Lee. Would you put your girl's name on it?
Well, she helped me work on it.
Suppose I wanted to fix. Where would I find a pusher?
Hey, now, I don't use drugs.
That's not what I asked you. I'm trying to find a pusher.
I don't know.
You know. You just think it's too dangerous to tell me.
I just met David, basically, and that's it. And we had about a 3-minute scene together in the library down in
USC.
USC. USC, and it took us just about half an hour, maybe a little more, to do the scene, our part of it. And on the way to my car, I was kind of reminiscing or replaying the scene in my head, and I realized that I had been standing just like David was standing, because I was working with and talking to, in the dialogue with the guy that I had admired for a very long time, since he had been
Richard Diamond.
Richard Diamond, Private Eye.
Yeah.
Even before that, when he did, I think he did.
He did a movie with Frank Gorshin called Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire, yeah. With Frank Gorshin,
yeah.
By the way. And I finally met Frank Gorshin. I told him that I had seen that, and he said, "Oh, my God, yeah, well." But anyway, I was seeing, in my mind's eye, I was seeing this same guy standing out in the dust and the blowing wind and ruffling his hair, and him not, talking to people but not looking them directly in the eyes, and looking away a lot, looking kind of down and up from under his eyebrows, and standing with his hands in his pockets and his weight on one foot, head ducked down. And I thought, oh my God, I was doing that exact same. I was mirroring David, because David was standing that way.
Yeah.
And he says, and to make matters worse, and to give you an idea of the impact that Jansen had on me, he says something to me. Suppose I ask you about buying drugs, what would you tell me? And I said, I don't know. I don't use drugs. And I twitched my cheek, my little cheek, which was one of the tics that he had picked up over the course of the, I think, 5 years that he played.
Yeah, The Fugitive, yeah.
Kimball.
Yeah.
In The Fugitive. And they got back to him, and he says, you know, you just think it's too dangerous to tell me. And then he twitched his cheek. And he turns and he walks out. And I thought, oh, my Lord, what have I done? Oh, God. Jerry Thorpe was directing this, and I thought, oh, my, he's going to look at this. And David is going to hit the ceiling. I'll probably never work with this guy again. And I'll be lucky if I ever work in this town again, because mimicking the star is not
a good career path.
not a good career move.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very ungood, as one of my friends says. Oh, well. But it ended up at the end of the day, after they went into production, David, if I ran out of something to do, David would say, do what I'm doing. And he would show me, and I said, oh, okay. We did that with a scene with Key Luke, and I was tired, and I don't know, I was not feeling particularly creative, and David said, hey, do what I'm doing. I said, well, and he showed me, and he grabbed his lapel with his right hand. He grabbed his left lapel. I said, oh, so I grabbed my lapel. And it played. I mean, it was silly, but it played.
Yeah.
He and I just, I don't know.
No, it was...
But back to this girl that played her trumpet, and then years later, she got a degree in, I think she got a degree in radio television, and also a degree in journalism, broadcast journalism, and became a publisher of a newspaper here in my little hometown of Johnson City, Illinois. It's a little bitty burg. It's a city in name only. I mean, there was a time when it was a thriving community, and now it's become more or less a bedroom community. Yeah. I think people live here, they sleep here, but they work and do everything else out of town.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found out that she could play the keyboard, and one of my next door neighbors was a girl named Aviva Maloney, and she was a saxophonist and a keyboard player, and also a backup singer for Davy Jones, formerly of the
Monkees. Yeah.
And she found out that Holly played the keyboard. She said, "Why don't you borrow one of mine?" So okay, fine. So we borrowed one of her keyboards and a speaker, and we played, and I was playing the pipes, and she was playing along with me, just kind of extemporizing along. And I said, damn, that works. And she was inventive enough. She was good enough at improvising that it just really. The only other piper that I heard that I was like that was a guy named Robert Matheson. He played a couple of CDs, and he was backed up by, I think, a synthesizer, and it just played so well. I said, "Oh boy, that'll work." And so I came back here, and she bought a keyboard, and made by Raold Phantom G8, and this thing will do everything, I think, but cook breakfast for you. and if you shorted it out just the right way, I think it would also cook breakfast. But she and I play together, and there's a place called the 1920s Hideout in the county seat, Williamson County, formerly known as Bloody Williamson back in the 20s. That's another story I won't go into.
You'll tell us that next time.
Yeah, next time. I mean, you're going to have me back? You're going to have me talking again? I'm damn.
Hey, talk. You know this, Les. Talk is good for radio. So it's no, I would.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of, without talking on radio, it'd just be a lot of silence.
It would be very ungood.
Very ungood, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, she plays the keyboard down at, plays the piano at this restaurant called The Hideout. And she does that about sometimes three days, or nights a week. So I've gone there and for dinner and that, but she's awfully gifted. She was a newspaper editor. After she owned her own newspaper, and then back some time ago, she got hired as a reporter, and then was moved up to editor of about 3 different newspapers in the Seminole area. Newspapers are kind of a dying breed. They really are.
Yes. So, yes. That is a subject for another conversation. So, all right.
That's quoting. I'm playing funerals. I play funerals, and I play with her. We do the Irish Festival here, and occasionally we play at. I think I've done about 4 weddings and wedding receptions. I've done 1-2 birthday parties. That's it. Everything else that I have done here has been playing at funerals. Now in Los Angeles, it was pretty evenly divided between funerals and weddings, or weddings and funerals. And then I used to jokingly say, "Well, I get them coming." And the first part depends a little bit on how the wedding night goes.
Yes, yes. Well, there is that. There is that.
That may it may be going and going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Les Lannom's on the line with us. Les Lannom, the actor known around the world as Lester Hodges on Harry O. Les will stay with us for one more segment this week. We'll ask him about his work with Henry Fonda, Peter Falk, James Garner, and more when we continue our conversation with Les Lannom here on TV Confidential.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-222-0511. 800-222-0511. Again, that's 800-222-0511.